Hey, what's up guys, Tony here, and I'm bringing some more MLB 12 Road to the Show with Scott McLean. And you guys are probably looking at the title and going, wait a second, I remember the last Scott McLean video had him in 2013 year, and now this is 2014. This is April of 2014, so it's a whole year later, and you're probably wondering, what the heck happened to that last season? Like, what happened? And I know I mentioned it in that last Scott McLean commentary, if you guys remember. I said I was going to talk about the things, the adversity that I was facing in that season. So go ahead and talk about it now, and then I'll get on to the other topic at hand. So what happened is in late April of 2013, Scott McLean broke his hand. He was sliding into second base, and then it was just one of those fluke things, and he broke his hand. And the one thing that I found, at least this experience with 2012, that I find is very interesting is the fact that all the problems that I'm having, I shouldn't say problems because they're not problems, but all the things that are occurring in this version, this game, I never had happen before. So like I've been traded a bunch, more than I've ever been traded. My players have faced overall more adversity than normal. You know, I've never had a player go down with an injury before. So this was a first for me to have a player have a substantial injury and to have to sim 60 games. So it's been a really weird version of this game for me and the experience. And I think maybe that's what makes these games fun, is that it's not necessarily the same from game to game. You know, there's a core of the game that's the foundation. It's going to be the same, but then there are other things that just change it up for you. So anyways, Scott McLean came back, and I wasn't the starting shortstop before, but I was, you know, it said I was the starter on the locker room menu, you know, but I wasn't. I was starting at least once, sometimes twice a week, and I had a lot of pinch hit opportunities, so I wasn't the starter at all, even though it said that I was the starter. And so anyways, what happened is I ended up playing through I think it was July, and I just was hitting terribly. I just like the problems that I had hitting in April translated into the problems I was hitting in July, and I actually got sent down to AAA. My player was hitting so poorly that I wasn't making the goals, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that I was getting a start a week. So like in the next 3 series, you know, walk 4 times and you know, have a fielding, or was it walk 4 times and, you know, make these goals, and it was like, you know, 2 out of 4, and I'd get 2, I'd get the points ones, but I wouldn't get the other ones. Like walking 4 times is hard. At least I find it hard because they throw a lot of pitches right down the middle. And so I failed my goals like I think it was 3 times in a row, and I got really mad. I got really upset with the game. It's just like, well, of course I'm not making these goals because I'm not getting enough freaking at bats. Because one was like hit 4. I think it was like hit 4 home runs and walk 4 times, and then plus the performance, you know, the attributes goal. So it's like, okay, I'm not hitting 4 home runs in 3 series because I'm starting 1 game from each series, if that, or getting, you know, so many plate appearances. And the game was kind of against me, and I don't want to be that guy like, oh, the game's against me, you know, it's out to get me. But that's what it felt like. And so I got demoted down to AAA. I played at AAA for, I don't know, a week or so, and I came back up, and then I hit okay. Didn't really, you know, tear the cover off the ball. And then when I started the 2014 season, it was weird because suddenly I think I hit like 3 home runs in 4 games or something. It was really weird. I'm like, where is this power coming from? It has since then fizzled out. But it's crazy. Like this game, I thought I had it figured out too. I had thought I had it figured out a few commentaries ago. I had mentioned that it seemed like if you have to get like 4 walks, they do nothing but throw pitches right down the middle. They just like meatball the shit out of these pitches, and it's really hard to walk when they're throwing pitches right down the middle. You really have to be patient. And then on the flip side, whenever you have to hit like 4 home runs, they throw just like shit. They junk everywhere, and it's really hard to hit a home run. And then so I have 4 home runs is what it says right there. Or like, you know, driving 20 or 19 RBIs or whatever goal it is, you know, it seems like it does the opposite. So when you got to walk a bunch, they'll just give you pitches to hit, and when you got to hit, they make it really hard for you to hit. But that brings me up to the topic at hand, is this game, this particular game, this version of the game is a feast or famine kind of game. Now, baseball in general, a lot of people could say like it's a feast or famine. Either, you know, you're tearing it up and you're going 2 for 3, or, you know, 3 for 4. You know, you're just really having a great game, and the next day you might go 0 for 4. So you feast and famine. But when you're looking at the stretch of games, you know, suddenly you're just like, okay, I'm, you know, not hitting well right now, so I'm in a slump. And, you know, slumps happen in real life. Like, say, catcher for the Padres, Nick Hundley, this guy's been in a slump the entire season, and mind you, he's been injured for a little bit of that season too. But even he went to AAA. And also, when you're in the famine stage, stuff like this happens. You know, you fly out to the catcher on a ball that you think you normally foul back to the backstop, or you're constantly lining balls out to the outfield, or flying out to the outfield, or just missing those home runs. You know, I think it's in this series where I hit a deep fly to left center, and then I hit a deep fly to right center, and it's just like, oh, those could go, and you watch him camp underneath it at the warning track, and you're just like, whoa, like, what is that? You know, like, I couldn't hit the ball any harder, and it's just those feast or these famine stages of the game. Now, the most obvious famine that I've had, it always comes as a pitcher too, and I really wish I was recording, because I recorded. I mean, I wasn't recording, but like I played, God, like 10 games in a row. So here's how it went with my pitchers. So Tony Miller, he goes 8-0, and he has given up a lot of hits. His WHIP was well over 1, but he was striking out a fair amount of guys, at least five guys per outing. That was such a weird thing too, right there. I was just like, what? Why did he dive forward? That was so weird. Anyways, so my 8-0 start, or my 8-0, so my 9th game of the season was a no decision, and then so the 10th start of the season was a loss, and it was a loss where it wasn't terrible, but it was kind of like, all right, what's going on here? It's a little BS. What's going on? You know, like players were, you know, inside outing pitches into right field. If they're like a right-hand hitter, they'd inside. They would take like a low and in fastball and line it into right field, and you're just kind of like, what? Come on, like no broken bats here or anything. And then what happened after that is there became this period where Tony Miller, every time he pitched, the batters would not lay off any pitch in the strike zone. I mean, they were fishing for everything, and they were hitting everything. One start, I think I went like 4 innings. It was like 4 1/3, and I gave up like 6 runs in the first inning, you know, double digits in hits for 4 innings, and it was so maddening. And then I was at the point where I was kind of like, I am so sick and tired of this game right now, because like this, pitches that are right down the middle, you weakly fly out to left field, or guys you normally, like say you go and you dominate the Mariners, and it's not that I expect to dominate a team, especially as a pitcher or even as a hitter. Just because you've got great numbers against a guy doesn't mean that you're going to dominate them all the time, but there is a level of consistency that you would like to see, you know. And I didn't see that level of consistency, because I don't mind losing 2-1 ball games as a pitcher. You know, I don't mind a steady attack on you. But what I do mind is when a game goes from being, you know, Dr. Jekyll to Mr. Hyde, where suddenly the guys are just studs. You know, you can't get a pitch by them because they're hitting everything you throw. And there was, I should take a picture of this, because there was one inning where I literally threw 4 pitches in the inning. 4 pitches. They hit all first pitches, and one was a foul ball, I believe it was. And then now, here we go for Tony Miller. Now, what it is I pitched like two hitters or something like that. It was amazing. I was like, holy crap. You know, I just like, what? Like, I went from getting my butt kicked for 10 starts in a row, and I recorded 2 losses and a lot of no decisions in that period. And also at the same time, my team wasn't hitting at all, to the flip side is, so I got through that really low part of the season, and then I got to a position where I've won the last 2 games. I think now I'm up to, I think I'm 12-2. So maybe I won like 4 games or whatever, and they weren't like 2-1 victories. I mean, these were like 6-0 victories where I struck out 8 guys, went to 9, you know, and just had a great game. So it was just like I had great games, then there's shitty games, and then there's great games. This game doesn't do like normal. You know, I want to have a normal. Like I actually pitched against Steven Strasburg. He's traded into one of the American League teams. I can't remember who it was. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be a nice pitching duel. We should have a pitcher's duel, and this should be awesome. Well, what ended up happening is I struggled through like the first. No, actually, no. I got through the first 2 innings just fine. It was the 3rd and 4th inning where I just totally got decimated. They just totally kicked my ass, and then Strasburg looked like a stud, even though we had a good thing going for 2 innings, 2 to 3 innings. So basically, what it is if you're playing in this game, know that you're going to have these high points, and then they're going to be followed up by some really low points, and then you'll get back to the high points again. So it's these stratified extremes. You get high points, low points, high points, low points. Just know it's frustrating. Stick with it, and you'll eventually get on to the other side, and then you'll be having fun again. And that's really what I did, and that's how I approached this particular version of the game. Maybe the next season, the next year's game will be a little bit different. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you later.